You how I prepare my watercolor paper before I start applying paint. So I'm starting to lay out this new piece, and I have some Asian text, and I'm very fortunate. I live in an area where I can buy used Asian books for $1 or $2. So I just buy them, and I have a filing cabinet drawer filled with different books that are just in this sort of state, and I just tear off a page whenever I need one. And I usually tear off the margins. I think the torn edge goes down better. And I sort of lay my pieces out a little bit, just so I have a rough idea of where they're going to go. So I'm going to use this picture of Tilda Swinton. This came from W magazine, which is quite a large magazine, and I like it for oversized images. And so now I'm ready to prepare this paper. This is Canson XL 140-pound watercolor paper, and I think this is 11 by 15, which is my current favorite size. I like to work bigger than most people do. My biggest journal has pages that are 15 by 20, so they're it's sort of this size book, two of these sheets laid together. I really like to work big. So I'm just gonna lay down some gesso. And I'm only going to do the left side of this one because where Tilda is from the right side over is going to be black gesso. So I'm just going to do part of the page in white gesso, just to give you a rough idea of how I start. I like to prime my watercolor paper with gesso before I get started because it's a good surface to paint on with acrylics and with water-soluble media. It makes the paper less absorbent than just bare paper. I find watercolor paper a little too absorbent for the kind of work that I like to do. So I have a nice light coat of this, and now I'm going to put down my text pages into the wet gesso. And I'm going to use a brayer to put it down. And you'll see that I'm lifting some of the gesso with the brayer and applying it to the text pages. And that's just to break up the surface a little bit. I mean, I love the look of this and everything, but I think it's probably too strong to just leave it bare. So I put a little gesso over the top of the paper, and that also primes it for the paint layers that are going to come on top of it. But I'm not too even about my coat of gesso on this piece, so some areas are completely covered and some are barely covered. I'm just going to go ahead and finish this. I'm not really worried about this right side since, like I said, it's going to have black gesso on it. So, and now I'm going to let this dry, and then it will be ready for me to start building layers of paint.